the organization, the tool. We have a framework that works, and hey, build your own protocols in, that works great. But as we said, integrating the security tools themselves into the development and QA process on the one hand, and having the actual people buy the product, and again, I edit in the topics, fuzz before you release, or on that particular point, fuzz before you buy. Then, actually, that's not what you asked, but whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. I mean, my issue was...
XML, yes, that's cool.
Well, I doubt that. Now, I mean, my point is, getting good tests is difficult in normal test-driven development. I mean, at least that's my experience. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I think coming up with good tests is real hard. So if that could be automated, so that, well, whatever, the program just takes the input and then cooks up code that really does good tests that really do something, that would be helpful. And is there any software, and if it is there any software licensed freely so that people here could use it?
There's a lot of good fuzzers that are free that, came out recently. And all you have to do in order to get that figured out is go to blog search at Google and look for fuzzer, and you'll see, and sort them by date, and you'll see what's new, or just join the fuzzing mailing list, and whenever a new fuzzer comes out, it's announced. But yes, there have been some pretty cool open source fuzzers coming out lately that have really taken taken it a step further. But are they smart? Some of them are smart, but there is nothing you can do when commercial. I mean, fuzzing is basically in the realm of open source, but right now open source is behind, and commercial tools are actually a couple steps further. But again, with a lot of money behind them. So,
I have a question for you, Gadi.
Okay.
The question is, have you worked with Windows Vista, and do you have any opinion about its security, especially in comparison to older products like Windows XP? That was my question.
I'll say just one thing before I give the microphone to Dan to answer that question, because he's here and he's a friend, and I allow myself to just give it to him. Does anybody know what ZERT is? Zero-Day Emergency Response Team? Okay, when we worked at ZERT and we tried to actually patch the VML vulnerability, we compared it against a lot of DLL files. And what we found was something that a few hundred people in the industry know, but pretty much nobody else does, and it's pretty obvious. Well, Microsoft and a lot of other vendors, such as, for example, Apple or okay, one step at a time. There are a lot of patched vulnerabilities in Vista that are not patched in Windows XP. There are a lot of patched vulnerabilities in Windows XP Service Pack 2 that are not patched in Windows XP Service Pack 0 and 1. Meaning that if we take, for example, Vista DLLs, okay, not that Microsoft has not done some amazing things with security at Vista, but if we take Vista DLLs or IE7 DLLs and compare them with BinDiff, for example, to say XP DLLs or IE6 DLLs, we'll find many times that a lot of vulnerabilities just stare us in the face. And hey, we have new 0 days now. And looking at Vista when we patched VML, we noticed that 2 weeks before, or a month before the VML vulnerability came out as a 0 day in the wild, being exploited using WebAttacker, it was actually already patched within Vista. Now, that does not necessarily mean Microsoft hid that patch from the rest of us, because there are a lot of different groups within Microsoft that do this kind of stuff. But then we found out, hey, it's patched for 3 months now, since June. What the hey? And looking at the new DLLs at Vista, not just for vulnerabilities, but actually new code base, which we haven't covered before, is a very easy way to find vulnerabilities. And another example is that, for example, Apple, they just found a vulnerability in Apple that was patched with FreeBSD 6 years ago. So it's time for not just the security crowd to know that 0 days are easy to find, and not just by, say, looking for them, but for everybody else too. So the main contribution of Vista is we can find 0 days really easy now. But other than that, they have done some amazing stuff in Vista, but in my opinion, it's not the cure for the world, and vulnerabilities are still going to be here, and malware is still going to be here. And although it did take Microsoft a large step further, it's still pretty much the same operating system. And now Dan can answer your actual question, and the ZERT story was on the side. Oh, by the way, at Xert, we actually checked DLLs for IE5, and guess what? For a brief period of time, 6 years ago, we were all secure against VML. IE5 for one version was secure, it was patched for VML. Then the patch was removed for some reason. So, a lot of stuff we learned at Xert. Yeah, Dan fucking Kaminsky, everybody. Thank you.
So I think you were asking, how secure is Vista? So I actually have some direct knowledge of this. I was part of their Blue Hat auditing team for Vista for most of the year. And, normally you walk into a pen test and it's like, could you please fix this? Oh, no. They got their ass kicked by security bugs way, way too much. So when they brought all of us in, it was more along the lines of, please point out anything you want fixed, and we will fix it. And if we don't, here's a stick. And just start beating people until they fix it, and then it'll totally go get fixed. It doesn't surprise me at all that, the VML bug was fixed. We spent pretty much most of the bugs that were fixed in 2006 were security bugs. And, it was part of Vista. It was in box, so it was in the middle of getting reviewed. They did a really good job. And, if the worst thing you can say about Vista is, well, but they didn't patch it before. Well, what do you want? Do you want them to, oh, we can't patch this bug because it's a bug, and then other people will see there's a bug. No, I'd rather they actually fix their problems, which I have pretty direct knowledge. Yeah, they've written a pretty solid operating system. Speaking of fuzzers, you don't actually get to ship anything in Vista if you don't have a fuzzer. Like, that code is 100% fuzzed.
We talk of, right? Microsoft, Cisco, they're actually doing it. So seeing the rest of the industry follow through is not that far-fetched.
Yeah, no, they're really pushing this entire software development lifecycle on all of their third parties because that's become the big problem. The operating system is all solid, the operating system is all secure, and meanwhile, what do customers do? They put on this third-party code and it's crap.
You lost the microphone when you said all secure. Okay, I'm serious.
Okay, I wouldn't say all secure. It's a hell of a lot better than the crap that insert third-party developers do, here.
So yes, I gave Dan the microphone because he can actually authoritatively say that Vista is better. Yes, absolutely, it is better with security. It has done a lot. It has patched a lot of bugs that are not patched before. We have heard that. And that said, come on, give me a break. Don't fall for the we solve the world problems, there are no more vulnerabilities or malware anymore, because please. So that's the only answer. The answer we can give you about Vista.